Hello, hello. It's Wednesday. All right, let me do the sharing is caring part. All right, that's good. I'm going to send out the live here. Yeah, sure. Help them. Oh, I got to be posting more on this one. I think that's what the cue is. I think that, I don't know. I might have sent it to multiple people more than once. If you see me looking down right now, I'm just sending it out to followers. And actually, that's good. I've sent it out. The people that are meant to show up are going to show up. That's the way that it is, right? When you're someone that speaks in terms of energy, that's what you should operate under to some degree anyway. And it is what I do align with. Before I started this live, I put that call out that those who were aligned with what I came to share, that they would align with this message. And you'll show up if you're meant to, right? Mm-hmm. All right. Little chickadee out there. Hello, say hello. Tell me where you're joining in from. Hello. How are you? I'm going to do a check-in, energetic check-in using tarot cards. They are my own personal tarot cards. They're the Etherian Tarot. And the Etherian Tarot. So we're going to check in and see what the energy is for whoever's tuning in, whenever you tune in. And then we'll carry on from there. Okay. That one is absolutely, it was like, you are taking me. Absolutely. Yeah. So these are this is pretty big cards. All right. I feel like from the energy that I was given, that those were the cards that needed to be addressed from that. All right, so stick around and just remember, you just take what resonates. If it doesn't resonate, don't try to force it to fit. We're going to talk about a bunch of things today. We'll talk about the new moon. Nope. The full moon in Virgo. For those of you that are not aware, Virgo, that's what it would be if the sky was, if you're looking at the true sky. But what we hear on mainstream astrology is that the moon is in Libra. And but when you look at the actual sky, you'll see that the full moon is actually in the sign of Virgo. So that carries with it a bit of a different energy than Libra. Virgo is about refinement of your environment, and Libra is about relationships. So they do carry a very different and very distinct energy. So before we begin, I want you to notice something, because I think that the last few days should have provided some clarity. There's been like a clearing, or you finally, all the stuff that got revealed during the eclipse that got balanced through the equinox and finally into this full moon. I think that you should be finding that things are getting clearer now. And Virgo does not create that chaotic energy. It really just creates a clean energy, because Virgo is concerned with cleaning up the environment or aligning it so that it's appropriate. The way that I like to process through the signs, and I'm going to go to the cards in a minute here that I have drawn for everybody. But I just wanted to start with a little bit about Virgo and the full moon. So it doesn't create chaos. It just reveals what's already there, and it tells you how you need to be refining things, what needs to be changed. It shows you where your energy has been scattered and where things aren't working out the way that you thought. and sometimes where things need to be adjusted. That's what Virgo full moons are going to show you. Okay, so I'm going to pause there for a minute, and I'm going to consult the cards that came out for us. So the one card that came out initially was the Three of Fire. And the Three of Fire is about expansion. So there's progress, expansion, creative momentum, trust in the journey, taking actions, and alignment with higher purpose. So this is really powerful energy that we're given. The Three of Fire calls you to keep going, to trust in the path ahead, and embrace the momentum that is carrying you toward greatness. You are moving with divine purpose. This is only the beginning. So if you align with that, definitely claim it. We also received the Five of Water, but the Five of Water came out in the reversed position or the upside down position. And the Five of Water is about release and emotional healing. Sometimes the reverse gives us the better message, though. And in this case, the reverse is talking about emotional recovery, acceptance, moving forward, shifting perspectives, gratitude for what still exists. The Five of Water teaches that loss is a part of the human experience, but it does not define you. Even in the darkest moments, light remains. Look for the hidden blessings and trust that healing is taking place. So we've got this beautiful, expansive energy, and we have this acknowledgement of the healing that you're doing. Powerful to begin with. The last card, now this one's a big card. I don't know if I should show this on the air. This is the Cosmic Key. I can't believe we got the Cosmic Key. So if you're catching this on the recording, do let me know how you feel about the reading and what came up with the Cosmic Key. These pictures are way more intense when you see them on digital, and they're also going to be way more detailed when I professionally print them. I just printed them on my computer. So this is the Cosmic Key for everybody. Okay, so the Cosmic Key is divine unlocking and sacred passage. This is an energetic activation, a divine passageway that bridges the seen and unseen, the known and the forgotten. It carries the blueprint of your your soul's full potential. So one, you're going to sit in stillness and you're going to visualize the Cosmic Key glowing before you. So see this glowing before you. Feel its light expand, dissolving veils and opening quantum passageways. Ask, what do you need to unlock? And listen. You may feel, see, or know an answer. You might just know something, and that's what's aligned with this card. So the Cosmic Key says, I have waited for you across lifetimes, resting within your soul's infinite light. You are ready now. I do not unlock what is not already within you. I simply reveal what you have always held. The path is clear. The time is now. Step forward. So it's a pretty powerful reading that we had here, right? So I would be claiming that if I were you. All right. Okay, so let's get into the bulk of what we're going to talk about today, which is going to be embodied wisdom. And that's just, how do you live in an embodied way? And I talk about how we are energetic beings. We are, like our spirit. This body is our temple that houses the temple. It's the temple of light. It houses our spirit. And that's the name of my free group, is Temple of Light. So there's so much around, what we've seen in society a lot recently is people not being in integrity, and we're seeing them fall. We're seeing, there's a lot of chaos and there's a lot that's being revealed, but until we see what is in the darkness, until it's brought to light, we can't make changes with it. So we need that revelation to happen. And, one of the things that Virgo full moons will do is it's going to reveal what's already there. And it's in a very clear way. It shows you where your energy has been scattered, where things aren't working the way you thought that they were, and where something needs to be adjusted. And for a lot of people, that can feel really uncomfortable. Okay. So is it feeling uncomfortable for you? How's it feeling for you? Mm. Oh, it's 10:10 on the timer there. 10:10. Okay. So for a lot of people, it can feel uncomfortable. Maybe it doesn't feel uncomfortable for you, and that's okay. So clarity removes the ability to ignore what we already know. Once you know the truth, then if you continue to operate within that truth, then you're consenting to it in some ways. Like if you find out that, I'm trying to think of something that wouldn't get me. He's censored it all. If you found out there was something really disgusting in your favorite food that was really against your soul, if you continue to have that food, then you're agreeing, right? You're consenting to it. So that's what we want, why we want the clarity. We want the clarity so that we can know, but knowing is only one part of it. You actually have to do something about the knowledge that you acquire. Otherwise, it's just information. And that's what I'm here to talk about, is how to take that information and embody it so that it becomes a lived truth. And so that's what we're talking about. This Virgo moon is going to be bringing us into clarity. It's not here to overwhelm. It is just here to bring you back to center. Okay, it's the great refiner. That's all. Lemon balm tea, delicious. So we're in a full moon in Virgo, and what full moons do is illuminate. They like to bring things to the surface so that you can see them clearly. And Virgo likes to focus on your daily patterns, your habits, your routines, and where the energy that you're putting out there is being used or where it's being wasted. So this is really important energy. And this is not about like dramatic life changes. This is about the small things that you do day to day that shape your direction over time. Your future is built on the habits that you have today. If today you're getting up and you're eating junk food from morning till night, and you're sitting on the couch and you're not moving, and like you've got other unhealthy habits, then you can't expect that tomorrow or next week you're going to be running a marathon if that was something that you had a goal to do, right? You have to, the habits that you're having today are going to show up as your tomorrow. So it's important to know, and that's what Virgo energy is all about. What's shaping your life today? And let's make those things visible. That's what that full moon is going to do. All right, so we're going to talk about return to center for a moment, because I had a course. It's actually a 10-day self-paced course that's on my website. And I wanted to talk about it a little bit so that you can understand what it is, but also to understand that I, as the person that created it, also use it all the time, because returning to center is not something that you just do once. So you start to recognize when you're out of center, right? When you get yourself into alignment, or you learn how to regulate your emotions, you learn to do breath work and to bring yourself into that calm space, you start to notice when you're not in alignment, and you start to recognize that you're in this distracted energy, and you'll be like, wait, why are we doing that? What are we distracting ourselves from? You might notice that you're in urgency, and you'll be like, okay, what's the underlying fear here that's got me in urgency, and what can I do to calm or settle myself? And it might you might be in a reactionary moment, because it happens to all of us, right? Nobody is perfect. We all do our best, but you still have to be responsible and take accountability for your actions when you do become, say, reactionary. And so you start to recognize those moments, though, and you realize you're no longer centered. And that's normal. It's normal. Because like I said, the work is not perfection. The work is awareness. It's just being aware. Hey, I'm out of alignment now. What do I need to do to bring myself back into alignment? And the part that you need to keep in mind too is when you're bringing yourself back, you want to do so without judgment, right? You didn't do anything wrong. You're human and you have human emotions. And, sometimes it's just one thing after another, after another, after another. And then you're crying in your driveway to some stranger because your vehicle won't start. And, that's not, that's not normally your behavior, right? So, you take accountability or acknowledge that, understand, and then you return to yourself and you do so with compassion, right? With understanding. So that's what returning to center is for me. It's a bunch of different practices. It's what one fits within whatever thing that I'm experiencing at that time. Hello. Oh, beautiful, powerful, right? Just so you know, the YouTube and Facebook streams, your comments are over there. So I'll look over there to see them. I'm on multiple channels, but I have a big screen here. So I get big, like, it's like captions for the visually impaired over here. So, and then the camera parts are here, which makes it easier. But yes, that's powerful, right? We have to choose us. You have to. And it can take a lot for you to take that step. Especially if you're moving through trauma. And trust me, it's like peeling layers, right? You work on the bulk of it and you get to this beautiful spot where you're like, okay, I'm pretty good. And then something will happen and you'll be like, woo, okay, so I guess I need to do a little bit there. And then something else will happen and be okay. So there's that too. And you just keep peeling back those layers until, you get to the bottom of it. And the way that you see what the layers are is the patterns that keep showing up in your life. So if you keep having, and I'll use yours for a minute, beautiful. It's a full moon. It's a full moon, love. It's a full moon. Full moons are revealing, and this full moon is in Virgo, so it's going to be revealing. There's going to be making ththings really clear, and it's going to be things about your environment. It could be things like your daily habits, your patterns, your daily habits, your routines, and where your energy is being wasted. So that's where you look at relationships and you'd be like, okay, I'm not aligned with that kind of energy. That's not, not for me. So that's what the Virgo moon is going to be creating for you. And it is a full moon today. I think I might have said new moon at one point, but it's a full moon. So it's not asking you to fix everything, though. That's not what we're not at that stage yet. It just wants you to see clearly. But what most people do is they see everything all at once and then they get overwhelmed, right? And I know for people that have ADHD or on the spectrum, and anyone that has anxiety, right, it can very much become overwhelming. It's like a mountain, and maybe it's only a molehill. And one of the things that I have said to like my clients the whole time that I've been working is you just have to do it one step at a time. It's the same way that you would eat an elephant, one bite at a time. It's the same way that you would drink an ocean, one sip at a time, one breath at a time, one step. That's all you need to be concerned with. I've been in situations in my life where I've had to sit with, I have today's daily bread. And that's okay. And then tomorrow, I have today's daily bread. And to sit in that space and not think and worry and concern myself with the next day, because there's that uncertainty. So you have to sit in the moment of now and be, I have what I need today. I have what I need today. And so this is, when you're feeling overwhelmed, try to bring it down into one, right? One moment, one thing, one adjustment, one correction, one small thing at a time, and change those habits. So if you were thinking of running a marathon and you'd never run a marathon before, well, there's a bunch of things you're going to want to do. You're going to want to you're going to want to change your diet. You're going to want to be starting walking and doing running, progressively getting better. You might want to have a training partner. There's lots of things you're going to want to do. You're not going to just do it all at once. You're going to start step by step and gradually increase as you go. That's how real change happens, right? A lot of spiritual teachers have people seeking like this flash in the pan, that you're going to show up and you're going to have this big, huge ceremony, this eye-opening experience, and you're just going to be bang. You're going to be lit up. You're going to be in alignment. Everything's going to manifest perfectly for you. And it's just, yay, rainbows and sunshine. And, and then it's, you get a little bit of success from one session that you have with them, and then you got to run back to them again because it doesn't work permanently. And it's because they never really taught you how to embody it or how to like really have that change. So I do these little teaching sessions in each of my lives, and I wanted to talk about today how those small patterns shape your direction. Because one of the powerful things I said today is that your habits today create your tomorrow. If you're getting up today and you're being conscious of your health, then tomorrow is going to be a healthier day, especially if you continue to do that day after day. And it's the habits over time that create your life. It's not the one-off. It's not the one day you went to the gym, but the 7 days that followed that you did not. It's the days that you do the things that you do every day. So most people don't move out of alignment all at once. They don't just fall off the bandwagon completely. It's not like you're on par, you're getting up, you got your meditation, you're doing your yoga, you're doing all of these things, you have your day all planned out, and you're perfectly in alignment. And then all of a sudden you're just like, nah, I'm not going to do that anymore. Like, it doesn't typically happen like that. It happens slowly. It's through small moments where you ignore what you feel, you override what you know, or you say yes when you mean no. And those moments, they keep building up over time until one day things feel off and they don't know why. Well, that's what this full moon is going to reveal. Not to overwhelm you, but to give you the point of return. Okay. We need to know where we're heading back to, what you're in alignment with. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of planetary alignment context, because on Sundays, that's what I do, is the celestial briefing at 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern. Check other time zones for what yours is in comparison. And on Saturdays, I do a global meditation and return to center. So please join me on those days and check out those other things that I do, or go check out my website. Right now I'm doing return to center. Like I said, it's a 10-day self-paced course that returns you to center. It's packed with all kinds of practices and integration and reflection, and has a bonus PDF. And it's an amazing little program. That's available at my website. Anyway, you can check it out there. Okay, so Mercury is still retrograde in Aquarius, which means that we're still in that period of review. We're looking at the patterns. We're refining how we think. We're just really reviewing all of the stuff around conversations. We're reviewing, like our communications, legal documents, stuff like that is what would be coming up as we're reviewing things with Mercury being in retrograde. And we're looking at refining so that we're future oriented with our thought patterns. We have Venus in Aries, and Venus in Aries is making desire more direct. You know what you want and you know what you don't, and you're very clear in it. And it's a more immediate energy and very much less negotiable. It's that good old Aries energy. We have Mars that is in Aquarius, and Mars in Aquarius is filtering action through alignment. It's asking, does this actually make sense long term? So the field right now is very clear. You can feel what you want, but you're asked to move with awareness, not urgency. So we're going to do our little embodiment practice because we do one every single show. We always do an embodiment practice because you have to make it real, and you do so by embodying things. So I want you to take a moment and I want you to ask yourself, where's your energy scattered right now? So where is my energy scattered right now? Do you have too many things on the fire? Do you have too many things that you're doing all at once? I sat there one day and I was all of a sudden looked down and it was 25 there. But when I looked down and I was like, I had two things playing simultaneously. And I was just like, you can't watch two things at the same time. Like, what are you doing? And it was just one of those moments where you just like shake your head at yourself. Like, what am I doing? Like, I can't possibly understand what is going on all around me, and like with all these things going on. And you do think that you're picking up some of it, but you're definitely not picking up the full thing. Like, it's just silliness, absolutely silliness. Like I know many times I've seen people watching TV and playing on their phone at the same time. And it's like, are you watching TV or playing on your phone? And it's like, you're not really participating in either fully. So where is my energy scattered right now? And what is one thing that you can do to bring it back into alignment today? So what is one thing I can bring back into alignment today? Not everything, just one thing. So maybe for me, that would be my morning yoga. I haven't done it the last couple of days. So for me, that's just instantly, yep, you need to get up and you need to get back to doing your morning yoga, do your meditation, do your yoga, your little bit of creativity. That's my morning routine, because those things are important to me. That moment of silence, connecting with myself, with my higher self or higher power, whatever you want to say. And so I connect to myself, and then I do yoga. So I'm moving my body and stretching, and it's physical. And then I do creativity, because it's a very important thing to incorporate creativity into your day every day. And then I go for a walk in nature and I commune with nature and hang out with my dog. And then I come back, and that's when I go to work, right? So I've kind of let a little of that slide because, some stuff happened. You get out of that little bit of alignment. It's just that little bit of one thing, right? I'm human just like you. And I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I do things that are, right? Like I said, I cried in my driveway the other day to a complete stranger because my van wouldn't start. Like, I do things too. We're all human, and we're just trying to do our best. So instead of trying to solve everything immediately, just notice it. Just notice what's out of alignment. For me, it was easy to say these things are out of alignment and I'm going to put them back in, but you just have to acknowledge that right in this moment. Okay. So how do you feel about that? So if you're starting to recognize these patterns in yourself, and you want a way to return to clarity without constantly second guessing or reacting, that's the foundation of the Return to Center program. It's not about doing more. It's about learning how to come back to yourself in a way that is steady and sustainable, right? It's all it is, right? Some of those moments, I was sitting there today and I had this wave of fear. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I just came out of nowhere, just this wave of that energy. And I was just like, whew, okay, what do you need, body? What do you need? Aw, you're welcome. Right. I was like, what do you need, body? And I was like, maybe I'll jump up and down. Like I'll do some shaking and some body movements and stuff like that. And I put my hand on, and I did some somatic practices with myself, because I'm human. I have these moments, and, I also have a whole ton of practices. Like, I didn't start out this way. I was somebody who was very reactionary. I had high functioning anxiety and depression. I was the director of nursing for a hospital and long-term care. My area of expertise was the emergency department. I worked as a flight nurse for years. I have, won awards and done all these things. Like, I had a crazy life. I can drive heavy equipment. And I did all of that. Why? Because I was running from my trauma. If I didn't want to sit still with myself, I didn't want to have to sit with all those pains and all of that. So then when I finally went through that healing journey, I built a whole bunch of practices that I have as a toolkit now that I can be like, okay, you're feeling like this. Do we need to do some, we could do some arm rubs. We'll drop our brain into delta waves. We'll just slow it down and be very soothing. Do we want to go out and touch some grass? Do I need to, connect to someone socially? Do I need to go out and chop some wood? Do I need to journal something, meditate, cry? Do I need to yell? Right? What is my body asking for? And then you go into your toolkit and you pull out the thing that it needs at that moment. Sometimes it's comedy. Sometimes you just need a good laugh. Sometimes you need to just not identify with the emotions that are coming up and saying, it's okay that this came up to say like, oh, there's some fear there, but this isn't something that I need to experience at this time. I don't need to be experiencing that. So that's why I created Return to Center, is because I know that and this isn't a trauma program. I have trauma programs. Trust me, they're on my website. It's Bridge to Light Phase 1. That's my program where we go deeper. If I got the interest for that, I would run that program live again. Right now it's recorded. It's all recorded, the 12 sessions and everything's there. But if I had interest in that, I would run that course live again so that you could ask me questions. We would, you have that environment, and then you get to also create that little bit of a community with the other students who are also going through the same things. And the reason why I teach these things is because I was there, I went through it. I don't talk about my story a lot because I try not to identify with that past. But, I experienced an enormous amount of traumas, and, I can talk about them, but they're fairly taboo subjects. I think there's a whole internet that's been exploded recently with, the Epstein files. And I think if you think about those files, you can imagine some of the traumas that people have experienced. And if you're not aware of those files, then thank goodness that your soul has not seen those things. And if you haven't experienced traumas yourself, then I am so happy to meet you. I meet very few people who haven't experienced some form of traumas or, just from society alone. And so the important thing is to find that way to come back to yourself, to come back to center, to be able to get to clarity, to get to that calm space, right? There's a lot of chaos going out there, and you can't do anything about the stuff that's out there. The only thing that you can do anything about is what's going on in here. So I hope that those things can help you. So just remember, clarity is not something you need to chase. It's something that becomes visible when things are no longer pulling you in every direction. It's one reason why meditation is also very, very, very handy. And this full moon is going to show you exactly where this is happening. And where clarity deepens, then direction becomes visible. So return to center again and again. And again and again. So yeah, what do you need right now? Do you guys need a little practice to return to center? Do you need clarity? What are you looking for right now in your life? I have a whole bunch of things I can share. I'm certain of it. One of the favorite things, I have something to share. I have something exciting to share. I completely forgot. And I can't believe I did. Oh my God, my book came out today. I received this in the mail today. It's the 6th book in the Unlikely Heroine Chronicles. This is the second one to feature Parisa. and it is the mermaid who is afraid of water. I am so delighted with this book. It's such a cute little story. And it's available on Amazon worldwide. It will be available on my website soon as an ebook, but it is available on Amazon worldwide. I'll just read the back of it off for you so that you understand the story. And if you have any little girls or even little boys, I'm sure, children, I've read all kinds of stories as a child. I read stories that were for boys. And just, I was just an avid reader. So Parisa and the Mermaid Who is Afraid of Water is the Unlikely Heroines Chronicles, book 6. Parisa loves beautiful things. She loves colors, fabrics, and the way a single idea can turn into something magical. But one quiet morning near the sea, Parisa discovers something far more unusual than a new fashion design: a mermaid. Sela should belong to the ocean. She has shimmering scales, a golden blue tail, and the voice of the tide itself. But there is one small problem. Sela is afraid of water. With patience, creativity, and a little courage, Parisa helps her new friend face the waves that frighten her most. Because sometimes the bravest thing we can do is take the first step into the unknown. Perfect for readers. A warm and whimsical story about friendship, courage, and discovering the strength hidden inside us all. Perfect for readers who love magical creatures, ocean adventures, and stories where kindness changes everything. That's a process. Okay, that is definitely a process. I would suggest for you, Daria, because that's such a big question to unpack all in one, is to have a conversation with me more in depth. I offer on my website a 30-minute free call, and you can sign up for that free call and we can have a talk, and then I can give you some guidance on what directions I would take. Right? For some of us, we are in a state where, it can be critical. Right? If you're in a state where you're having suicidal thoughts and you feel like you are, like you're at risk of committing suicide and you've got a plan, that's not something that you're going to come to me necessarily with, although I can help you by giving you some strategies and directing you in the right direction because I was an emerge nurse. Right? But I would be telling you to contact someone local, right? Because if you've got a plan, then there's a very likely chance that you may actually implement that plan. So that's a crisis situation. That's an emergency situation. If you're somebody who, is very, very overwhelmed with their traumas, then I would suggest something with the Bridge to Light. On my profile is my website. It's on Sha'Ryah, ANSHARAEL.com. So the same as my name up here, on Sha'Ryah.com. And there's right at the top of it, it says questions, book a call. And that's where you can book the call. And that way there, I would know better how to direct you without understanding, exactly what you're dealing with or where you are within that. The return to center is a great thing to help you return to center, but it's not going to help you with like really, really deep trauma. If we're working with deep trauma, then we're going to want to go through that process. And I'm no problem with walking with you through that. Okay. And I'll talk to you about what all's involved in that. Okay. I used to call it a sacred journey. When I first did it, it was sacred journey. And then I decided to change everything at my company and I made it a school, and it was the School of Light. And then it was about the ascension, the pathway of ascension. And trauma never left though. Right. And we're always peeling back those layers of the experiences that have left scars on our soul, and healing those. And we're all just walking each other home. And we're just reminding each other. That's what I'm doing. When I'm teaching, what I'm doing is remembering you, right? So you remember who you are, what you are, and how you're meant to live. And you can finally let go of all of those things that are weighing you down, because they block us. They block us from everything that's meant for us. right? The whole time that we're traumatized, we're going to line up with experiences that show us that there's something that we need to fix or that we need to address. And that doesn't mean, when I mean fix, I don't mean that there's something wrong with you, because you're not broken. You're not. There's so many things that come together to create the stories and the experiences that we have. And but you're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. Most often we were in environments with parents who didn't know how to be parents either, because they were in environments with parents who didn't know how to be parents. And it just continues in that circle, right? Until somebody is strong enough to say, I don't want to keep doing this. And for some of us, we have those experiences as adults where, we've interacted with somebody who's been, very terrifying and left scars on us as well. So, and sometimes we're our worst enemy. I've been one of those. I used to be the person that hurt herself when she was really, really distressed because I didn't know how to manage my emotions. So I would hurt myself. I would punch my legs, or I would hit the count. Like I would punch things with my hands and my wrists, and I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how do I do with all this overwhelming emotion? Nobody ever taught me what to do with it. And because I had so many traumas inside from childhood that I never dealt with, when I would get hurt as a teenager or an adult, okay, so they just restricted my live for some audience. Okay, I'll have to submit feedback on this. No, I'm just going to say my live does not contain content mentioned in that. We won't talk about that type of stuff anymore, okay? There. Okay. So anyway, I did those things. And I'm happy that I now have healthy coping practices. So, and I understand my emotions, and I worked through those traumas that I had from childhood that I was afraid to look at. Many people think that, it's like that mountain analogy. We think that it feels like, I used to call it the dam, actually. I used to say it would feel like when you're going into your traumas, that as soon as you go in, this whole dam is going to break, and it's just going to overwhelm you and wash you away because there's so much. But it goes back to what I was saying earlier, that everything that we do in bite sizes, right? Hi, Diane. Love you. We do in bite-sized pieces, right? It's one step at a time, one breath at a time, one moment at a time, one bite at a time. It's not all of it all at once, right? And I think that's what I found the hardest with some of the therapists that I tried over the years in my early years. And they never stuck because they never gave you any practical tools. It was just, you'd go in and you just talk, and all right, see you next week. And, it just never seemed like they were looking to resolve anything that was underneath. And for me, that was imperative, right? If you're going to therapy and your therapist isn't teaching you how to get to the root of why you are triggered, then your therapist isn't helping you. Because at the end of the day, if you think that the world has to change to accommodate you, that's where you're never going to heal, right? We need to take sovereignty. We need to take ownership for ourselves. And we have to do the healing so then we show up as healthy adults. And that's, a part of the new earth too. Yeah, everything that you reveal, when you bring it to light, that's how you remove the darkness from it, right? And so it's putting the awareness on it, and that's what we want. Full moons are beautiful for revealing things. That's what this full moon's going to do. Like I said, with daily habits and things like that, because it's Virgo. Mainstream astrology will say that the full moon is in Libra, but if you consult a Living Sky app right now, it will say that it is in the sign of Virgo. It is in the sign of Virgo. And I deal with true sidereal. So yeah, I hope some of that helped, like as an understanding, like it's layers and you just do one layer at a time. Nice. I'm looking so forward to it. I'm like delighted. I have this window in my bedroom that is right where the full moon comes up, and I have a chair that sits there. It's where I meditate in the morning. And so I'll sit there tonight. Last night I did a Zentangle. No, not Zentangle. I did a neurographic. Who knows what a neurographic is? Because I can talk about what that is. I can kind of show it a little bit because some of the images that I drew for my Ethereal Tarot, actually, there's a couple that have a very neurographic kind of feel to them. I think the Hermit was one. Where's my Hermit? There's definitely, but so when you do Zentangles, or not Zentangles, sorry. When you do Neurographica, this is an art therapy thing that you can do. So when you do that, I actually have some scrap paper. I can just show you. Oh my God, this is perfect. I don't care that has a little bit of writing on the back of it. It's okay. We're gonna make a little tiny one. It'll be even better. Okay, so when we're doing neurographica or neurographic, what you can do, the one type of it that I like to do is you focus on some aspect of something. So it could be, I've done one recently on the masculine wounding that I have, because I was working through that. And I've done one on the healing that I've done recently and all the things that I've released. So the way that you do it is you just scribble on the page, like you just put you're thinking about what it is. I have to put it down this way to start it. And then once you get going, you just keep moving it around the page until you've done whatever you want. And then the other part of it is where you go around and you smooth out any of the corners. So if we think of this like an intersection, right? We want to make it so they all have curved, like they all go curved, right? So that's what we mean by smoothing out all the corners. And this does something to your brain when you're doing it. So you just keep going through and smoothing out all of the corners. You can do it as thick or as thin as you like. So then you have these spaces that come out and just smoothing out those patterns. So that's how and you can color it in. You'd use it as your imagination. It'd look better if I had to just sat it down and, made one that could be about something. And then I don't know what this one is about, but there I've drawn, and I drew on my Hermit. I've drawn one. So then you would just go in every single intersection, you would smooth it out. So they can get quite complicated depending on what you're actually processing through. And I'm trying to think, oh, wait, I do have a neurographic. Hang on one second. Hang on. I have one that I drew on paper. Okay, so this is a neurographic that I did, and not all of them do I turn around and pull images out of, but this one, I could see this cat, and she looked like an Egyptian cat for some reason. And then on the other side, there's like this face that was appearing to me. So I ended up coloring it all in. But you can see the concept of the neurographic where you swirl or you just draw around, and then I smoothed out all the intersections, right? And like I said, you can do it as thick as you want or as thin as you want. And you can do all kinds of things with it, right? You could do patterns, whatever you want. It's your art. It's your way of processing through whatever energies that you're experiencing or traumas that you've experienced. And it's a nice way to do it. And you can do it over and over again. And you can see how it changes with time. And you'll see the symbolism in it. Then you can start looking up things like, what do the colors relate to, and what does that mean? And you start to look at, like, what is it saying in the images that you're creating, which is the fun part too. So yeah, lots going on. Did that help, love? Yes. Exactly. Me too, Diane. Full hermit mode. Isolation is beautiful, actually. I like my peace. You need connection, but you need connection that's aligned. And I find that for many of us, one of the things that we have the biggest challenge with is boundaries. And it's because we are so worried about putting a boundary up and losing somebody over it, or losing what somebody brings to you as well as another part of it. And so we tend to fall back or waffle or, lose our boundaries because of that. And the hard part to learn with your boundaries is that when you do enforce them, if that causes a loss of relationship, then that wasn't a good relationship anyway, right? You want a relationship where people respect your boundaries, right? And so that's one of the hard parts when we're processing through our trauma, is getting to the point where you can enforce your boundaries, right? And stand strong on them, especially in the face of potentially losing a relationship with someone that you care about, right? Are you anxious all the time? You need my program. You need Return to Center. Oh my gosh, that would be perfect for you, sweetie. Aww. Well, how can we return to center right now? What can we do? So this was one of the ones. I used to work in an inpatient mental health, and it was trauma, addictions, and mental health inpatient retreat thing. And I was the trauma specialist, and would do all the work with people with trauma and stuff like that. So one of the favorite techniques that I used to like to show them, and this is a very simple technique, and some people would knock it because of the simplicity, but trust me, simplicity is the best thing. Okay, so if you're anxious, actually, well, I'll give you two things today. I'll be generous. I'll give you two things today. One, because it's absolutely my favorite thing in the whole world, and it is so essential for all of us to know, and that is heart-focused breathing. I used to start my lives with heart-focused breathing, and I'm certified, and definitely certified. Heart-focused breathing. Okay, so all that is, you can put your hand on the center of your chest, and when you're breathing in, you're just going to envision that you're breathing in through your heart and out through your heart. Just think of it like a donut. In through your heart, out through your heart. Okay? And you just slow and deepen your breath. And people will say, well, that, breathing never worked for me. Breathing never worked for me. And I remember when I went to therapy, and my therapist gave me this technique called the butterfly. And the badass eagle was what we called it as well. But depending on what your comfort level is, you can call it a butterfly or the badass eagle. And the whole thing is about tapping. Now there's meridians, right? This is an EFT thing, but it's tapping. And when you're tapping on that, when you're tapping on your on yourself, and so you're supposed to do this when you get anxious. I was supposed to tap. There's other points that you can tap on, but I was supposed to tap on these points. And I remember coming in one time and I was like, it's not working. And she's like, well, show me how you're doing it. And I'm like, going like this, right? And she's like, and how long do you do it for? And I'm like, I don't know. It's not working. So it doesn't work. I end up stopping doing it. Right? I'm just like, it's not working. And she goes, well, you're not doing it right. One, you're not doing it long enough. And two, you're not doing it slow enough, right? if you're trying to slow your nervous system down, you can't be going like this with it. So she's like, just slow it down and do it longer. And she said, and then see. And then she goes, and then come back to me. And if it doesn't work, we can always try something else. So one of the things that I'll always say is just give it time, because sometimes it is the fact that you have to actually do it and you're not giving it enough time. And I know when you're anxious and if you're having a panic attack, how hard the concept of time is, because it seems to be like, just like, right? So heart focused breathing, right? We're going to slow our breath down and we're going to have the air come in through our heart and out through our heart. I know it's coming in through there, but that's what we're going to focus our energy on. And you can amp this up by changing it to the quick coherence technique. And what you do to make it that is you're just going to bring an emotion to your body of gratitude, appreciation, love. Love can be iffy. Love can be iffy. And that's because many of our relationships and many of the people that we love, there's little stuff that's kind of underlying it, right? So you might end up having it where, you love your partner, but you got into a fight and, it irritates you sometimes because it doesn't know how to put the dishes away. And, so there's complexities to relationships. So love is challenging. Love with animals, again, it may not be sustainable like enough, but it can be. I love my dog so much. I can definitely conjure up love thinking about him. So gratitude and appreciation are very, very good emotions to bring up. Okay, so we're just going to think about how grateful we are that we have this community that we have here together. We're hanging out together, and we're just going to breathe in slowly through our nose into our tummy. Okay, we want to do a deep breath. And as we're breathing deeply, we're just going to keep our attention on our heart filled with love. Okay, so we're going to just breathe in. And out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Now, you can continue doing that. I suggest 5 minutes, 3 times a day. All right. Right as Michael Day came in, 183. Right? Like, it's perfect. So that's what I was doing as a part of my healing journey. Heart-focused breathing. There's the Heart Math Institute. You can go and check it out. They've been studying the heart since the 60s. We are heart-focused. We have a electrical system that is generated from our heart. We notice things through our heart. The nervous system that runs between the brain and the heart, but going from the heart to the brain, is huge, because the heart, in that neural network, in that energy field that's around you, senses that somebody's going to do something that's going to embarrass you, because it can sense into the field the energy that's coming out. So it says to your brain, hey, brain, cue the embarrassment flood. You know the thing that's going to happen when we get embarrassed? Like flush the cheeks, make the palms sweaty, increase the heart rate, cause those reactions, cue the chemical reactions, cue the heart to speed up, right? But it's the heart, right? That's the energy, your soul, right? That's picking it up. Okay, so the other thing that I really, really like to teach people or give people, and once you get doing that for a while, the other thing, that was the one thing I wanted to say. The rate of breathing is about 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out for that. And you just stabilize that rate, and you're just breathing in 5 seconds, out 5 seconds, focused on your heart. That's it. And when you get doing that, what you're doing is you're bringing your heart and your brain into coherence. So you're going to be able to make clear decisions. You're going to feel very balanced and grounded, and you're going to be definitely returned to center. Now, on to the next one that I was going to tell you guys about. This is the one that's just like, it's simple, but it's something that I've handed out to people all around. And it works so well because you can do it anywhere, because you can hide it so easily. So one of the things that's happening when we are in our reactionary state is that we're not in our logical mind. We're not in our bodies. Some of us are completely dissociated from ourselves. I was one that did that. I used to say it felt like you were a tiny person in a little helicopter floating around back here somewhere, but you certainly weren't in your body. Things sounded a little bit further away. Sensations were numbed completely out. Like it was just back there. So for many of us, we're not in our bodies, or we're not grounded when we're going through our trigger, or we're in these reactionary states. So one of the things we want to do is bring ourselves back into our body. And that's why a lot of times therapy is not isn't going to help, because it's just top down. They're just looking at just talk therapy, just talk about it. But it doesn't do anything about all the energy that's stored in the body, right? So all the hurt and all the pain and all that emotion that's stored within your tissues, that's stored within your energy field, it doesn't do anything about that. But these practices, when you use them consistently, they are what's going to bring you back to balance over and over again. So then those triggers don't trigger you as much. They don't affect you at the same rate. So this one here is really simple. And you're going to take your fingers and your thumb, and you're going to rub your thumb on your fingers. So you could do this anywhere. You could be at work. You could be sitting in an office meeting, and you just, do the rubbing on the finger behind your other hand, like you're cupping them. You can hide it anywhere. And even if somebody saw you doing this, they might think you're just fidgeting anyway. Right? But you're putting your focus on the sensation of your fingerprints, the sensation of touch. There are so many nerve centers on the palms of your hands, right? They're one of the most sensitive parts, and they occupy one of the largest centers in your brain, for where your senses are, is given to your hands, your feet, and your lips and your genitals. Like those are the main areas for your sensory areas, and then the other things are smaller from there out. So they're very sensitive. So if you can focus on that sensation, it's grounding you into your body. Now, internally, you're going to start asking yourself a couple of questions with the same answer that you're going to give yourself with each question. So you're going to say to yourself, where am I? And the response is going to be here. And the next question you're going to ask is, what time is it? And you're going to say, now. So you've effectively grounded yourself into your physical body with the sensation of touch, and also taken your thoughts off of whatever it is. So if your thoughts were running in a fear state, or, overthinking, worrying about something, you bring it back to the here and now. Right? So you have that sensation of touch and the repeating of that. And then you go and you add the breathing. Just slow down your breathing, because that's the brake in your nervous system. It's the one thing that you can control to slow things down. So put that brake on in your nervous system. Okay? So that's the little secret technique. A little rubbing on your fingers. Where am I? Here. What time is it now? And slow your breath. That'll bring you back to center no matter where you are. And you can take that and you can use it anywhere. Okay. All right. That's a little bit of help anyway. Did you find the website? Were you able to check out the website? 2, 3, 4 on that there, though. That's cool. Can you, if you're watching, can you like the live, please? If you put a little like on the live, and let the YouTube or Facebook people know that you liked it. How are you, Christine? How are you? So yeah, that's pretty much all I had for today. On Saturday, I will do a check-in with the cards and the energy and all of that. And then we're going to do a global meditation. We're I want to incorporate a few different things in it, but we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun with the meditations, right? Let's keep this wave going. And when more than one person comes together, it's even more powerful. So let's keep doing this global meditation for peace, unity, love, respect, and whatever else we come up with, whatever else we think that the society needs. 1.444 on the time there. Look at that. Catching all the times. Catching all the times. All right, guys, I will be back here on Saturday at 10:45 a.m. Mountain or 12:45 a.m. Eastern. And you can also catch me on Sunday at 6 p.m. and Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Mountain times, both of those, or 8 and 8:30 Eastern. Okay. And in the meantime, go check out the Temple of Light. Go check out Return to Center, whatever you need to. The website's in my bio. And go check it out. Yeah. All right. I love you guys. I'm going to get out of here and see what I can do about this restriction that they gave me because I didn't censor myself. I didn't censor myself with the language I use. I apologize, TikTok. I apologize. I said the wrong thing. But yes, I'll see you guys later. Have a great night. And thank you for hanging out with me. And I hope that it was really helpful. I'm going to dismiss that. That's very loud. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Love to see you guys there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Love you guys. All right. We're going to hit the end buttons. There's going to be some noises on one. Bye guys. Oh, on Sha'Ryah. I'm maybe. Let me see. I'll put a comment in there. Oh, love you guys. It ended up ending anyway. Bye guys.